Hello and welcome back to what might be the greatest TriCast that you have ever seen. He might be involved over the course of this one, but no, speaking of that, I don't know if you've ever done it, but if people at home don't realize, that was actually one of the more tricky things I've ever done. I've only TriCasted a couple times. I did it with Jack and Matt a couple champs ago. That's hard. Well, let's take a look at the Afro social soundboard. Shout out to Enigma. I appreciate that. Honestly, happy to let Maven have Copper on screen the whole time until the issues are fixed. Trust me, on my personal stream, that is all I get the entire time. Copper can. Get a Copper can. We have shots of Copper. People love dogs. It's just the way it is. People love them. Dogs are fantastic.
Yeah, I get it. Lou's the same way. They want to Lou him, but he just like gets up and moves a little bit too much. Like he's just not stationary enough, you know? And I'm sure Copper is probably definitely not. I need like
a GoPro with like motion tracking technology or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I need, but I've heard we're about a minute out. Now, I hope I'm not lying to you, but that's the last thing I was told. So we're getting very, very close. Thank you for hanging out with us while we fill a little bit of time before we get ready. But dude, back to it real quick, because like I didn't realize how hard it was. But so when it's just you and I casting, Joe, with two people, it's there's back and forth. We're having a conversation, right? For the most part, it's pretty natural to know when to talk, even if it's a little trickier online, obviously, because you don't have the same body language. But with the three of us, when I did with Matt and Jack, it's like you almost have to, we decided to just like tap our chest when we wanted to talk, so you didn't talk over each other. Yeah. But it's a whole different beast. Anyway, I just thought of that because the Copper TriCast, that's not a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably be like the Matt in that situation. I would just be hanging out until, I don't know, I had something important to say. Because you two, you got a lot to say. So I would literally just be waiting. Yeah. I mean, it's just the way it is. I can only imagine. You and Jack plus Matt. Whew. Yeah, that was a chance, right? Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Matt got about 10% probably of the talking time we're jacking out there. That's 100% true. But I do see everybody in the lobby, so I think we're about to go. We're going to be kicking things off on Apocalypse. Now, I'm just curious. I think I know the answer to this, but is there anything these two teams could do right now that would make you think, and by make a run at the major, I mean, I don't know, maybe sneak in a top 4 or something like that. Like, if Surge came out and 3-0 smashed Guerrillas, does that change your view on the outcome coming up at all?
No.
Yeah, I kind of figured that'd be the answer.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really. I mean, you know, obviously, a lot of people talk about Major 4 and what Seattle did, but, you know, you beat Paris and London, which is, you know, good wins for them, but they would have to maybe beat another team to continue to go that. And I think once you get around that top 6, top 8 area, that's where these two teams will struggle. It's where they've struggled all year, right? That's why they're in the positions that they are. That's why this is the big one. It's not because they're the two best, it's the opposite, Maeve. So, yeah, I think, you know, could it happen? Maybe with the veterans that are on this squad, but they don't have a lot of big match victories throughout the year.
Yeah, we had a word for that in my fantasy football league, but it is not safe for broadcast.
Not good.
Yeah, we would do like the two like bottom teams would play each other, and the loser would have to do things that are also not safe for broadcast. But yeah, we should apply that
weird. That's just really weird. Did you see that one story? Did you see that one story, that football guy who got last, and he had to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House. 24 hours in a Waffle House. And every waffle he ate, it was like 30 minutes deducted, right? So I think he was posting like updates where he got to like 10 to 12 waffles. I don't know the certain amount, but he had to spend 24 hours, or he got it down to like 15 in a Waffle House.
That actually ended up being a decent segue, because I was very hungry this morning, and I never get breakfast, but I ordered 3 Belgian waffles from IHOP with sausage, bacon, and hash browns, and I ate all 3 waffles. So you are just
energized today. You're ready to go.
I ate all 3 waffles, and they weren't like little waffles. They were waffles. I ate all 3 of them.
Big boys, the big waffles. I got to
get the carbs
starting. No.
Hey, let's go. We did it. Woo!
And that'll be the end of the Maven and Merch Show episode. I don't know how much time will we filled. It was a lot. It's been a lot of episodes, but we're done.
I mean, it's all we do on our personal streams all day is just talk about stuff that doesn't matter for the most part. So we've gotten good at that. All right, but time to go. The big one, Joe would call it. It's Surge and Guerrillas. Get ready to roll. I kind of share your view that not a lot that can be done in this match that'll really change my position, but I don't know. I guess I would at least like to see like one team kind of come out and smash the other, get my hopes up a little, versus like a game 5 round 11.
Well, we'll see, but you do see Octane start off with that Krieg. Obviously, last match, we saw Subtane.
Yeah.
We did see Subtane, and off the break, it's 3 dead, and Prestinni, he's going to flip the spawn. So there's a great start for the Seattle Surge.
Yeah, great isn't perfect. The flip is done, the push is through, and we casted a match with them recently where Prestinni did the same exact thing, just kind of right up the gut, won a gunfight, flip for his squad. So they've been efficient at that, but can they continue it from here? So far, so good. Is Octane able to connect? Classic then with the double. Guerrillas getting rolled early.
Yeah, they just have, obviously a lot of work to do. They're going to try and work the bottom left side of the map. If you're able to find a couple of kills, maybe you can spawn them out. The problem is, though, is they haven't found anything. You have Classic on now 4 in a row. It's just one-on-one challenges. There's no trades coming through. Finally, aBeZy will get on the board, but it's 42 seconds. It's P2 control for Seattle Surge.
Yeah, this has just been an absolute lockdown. We got a chance like 104 scoreline looming if they can continue to do it. Let's see if Silly can maybe find an opening. The trade efficient, though, from Surge. Back and forth we go, but Classic's double might be the difference. Couple multi-kills through this opening setup, but this close spawn does come in for Guerrillas. They should be able to get some time. They've got the advantage here for a second, but not anymore.
I mean, you already take this, though, if you're Surge. With, 25 seconds left, you can have them spawn on the right side. That's fine, because what's going to happen now, with all 4 dead, Surge is just going to rotate to the 3rd hill. So they'll take that. Take the 20 seconds. We're going to have the spawns for 3, 4, and 5, the side of the map that we want if we can control it. It's obviously a long time, but you know what? You had such a good break. You find 28 more seconds after that first hill. But Guerrillas do get a couple on rotation.
Well, if they get the final 20 seconds, then they get a quick break. That can flip quickly, but as Octane takes down 2, he will quickly get flanked. Guerrillas in the hill for now. Really just one player there. The rest of the teammates kind of racing to get into it. Prestinni throws in the haymaker. App gets a kill, and then unfortunately, Simtex takes him out.
Right now, it's just gunfights. Just the gunfights that Seattle Surge are winning. Everybody positive. Mental, though, he's starting to get going as he's on 3 in a row. They do find Prestinni. So that narrative that I was talking about at the end of the second hill kind of gets flipped on his head with Guerrillas on that rotation, able to contest, and the spawns do flip. So now Surge is going to try and push on through.
I know you and I were talking before this, and you like some of the improvements you've seen from Mental when it comes to the Surge, but anything in the respawn, like even if like the stats aren't there, I know we don't watch just his POV the entire time, but I didn't know if maybe you noticed anything you were liking with his development so far.
No, I think Surge has definitely been the bright spot for Mental so far in what he's shown, but yeah, honestly, just respawn just haven't really been working, kind of what we talked about. I mean, everyone is really getting, when you look at just KDs, everybody's kind of getting smoked, right? And when your ARs are 2 of the bottom in the league, that doesn't open up a lot of lanes for the subs. And when you're constantly in spawn traps, it makes it difficult for the ARs. So just that slaying and what we're seeing, it feels like their teamwork has not developed to a point where, well, they can even compete with Seattle Surge.
Oh, this is a weird question real quick. Because I felt like most of the guys that came over from Halo, like, maybe because of the game type that Halo is, they were really comfortable in respawn quickly. It took a little while in Surge. Do you think, I don't know, like a difference coming over from Gears maybe makes that natural transition more towards Surge? Maybe there's nothing there. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe that, sort of the trades and kind of the way they work the map helps him out, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think there's really anything. I'm sure he's played a whole diversity portfolio of games.
I'm sure. I was just wondering if maybe there was something to it, but Seattle has a monster lead right now. They're up 100. We're gonna get into an Astro Gaming listening with Seattle Surge.
One shot. I'm trying to hold the repench. There's plenty low on me. There's plenty low on me. Find the back. Find the back.
One shot.
One shot.
I'm repinching the back. I'm behind 2.
One's on top, I think.
Go on. Up here in the back on me.
Nice, guys. One's gonna be purple. Purple fast.
Yeah, come on, let's go. They're spawning way out. Stay there.
I got him. Purple?
Nice. Yeah, I'm blocking the back. You're fine.
Push down slope early. Oh, he's laying down slope. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm in
Bottom mid.
Top maps. One shot. Top maps.
Bottom mid.
Just hold your way for 2 minutes.
Holding heli. Who's gonna hit heli?
Go through.
On new, pretty weak.
Heli.
Get it till they spawn out. It's not on heli spot. It's not on heli spot. Jump.
One's on down. He can go there.
So they got time peeking.
Push 2. Alright, 2 low slope.
Zoe one on the close right. Close right.
Yeah,
One's looking over me.
Watch your slide shot.
They have a trophy. Don't worry. He's absolutely close right again. He's up. I'm trying to close right. Oh, wait. Okay, dude.
On truck.
Let's see him on time.
I'm one.
Behind
I'm
truck.
one.
I'm
one.
going left, guys. I'm going left.
Wait for one. Once we get back.
Yo, one's back.
Back.
Left apple, one shot left.
Back window. No weak.
Window,
No
one shot, one's clipping me.
There's two cliff. No
Yeah,
cliff.
one's one in purple. One's one in purple.
App's really good. I'm in the back.
One's P3. I think,
I'm pretty sure this one is purple. Yeah, App's hitting. Oh no, he's slow. Mental. He's hitting time.
I've real time.
Full soak this shit.
Still dead, man. I've your slow push.
I'm pushing slope.
Looking cliff. Go stop
seeing
peeking. Go stop
CT.
peeking.
One
Stop
shot.
peeking,
You want
stop
CT?
peeking, yeah,
One
Yeah,
shot. Temple.
App on time, pretty weak.
Got him.
Well, it was around a 100-point lead when we hopped into the listen, and now I'm wondering if it's going to be a 200-point victory, as it is 213 to 53. Guerrillas just get mollywopped.
Yeah, they have a chance here, though, right? They have the rotation in this second hill. Can they finally get some time? Can they get some slaying going? Assault's playing pretty well. aBeZy right behind him, but Mental Silly's struggling right now. As well, Octane. We saw him, hit some nasty shots, pull out the Diamati, able to find that second one. We definitely prefer Octane, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's been one of the best in the world for as long as I can remember. Guy's an absolute unit. Doing a good job trying to help get his team the big game one dub. As you said, Guerrillas starting to make a little bit of a run, but it's going to need to be a massive run if they're going to do this. Prestinni's trying to find the opener. And he's what kind of started all this. Just a couple key kills in the opener, got the flip and got them off to the right track, and they've been dominant since.
Yeah, but even though that player that we just saw right there, right, like that trade from the Seattle Surge to get that break, we just haven't seen a ton of that from Guerrillas. It feels like their pacing is just a bit off. Not baiting and switching well. At least early on in this game, that could change starting now and maybe into the search. But so far, that's what I noticed, and that's what you'll see a lot in the kill feed. But Assault and aBeZy able to find one as we head over to this third hill.
How did you deal with that as a player? Like when you're at mid-respawn, it's not like time to have a conversation, but like you can tell the pacing's off, you're a little bit staggered. Like, how do you get back in a rhythm?
Usually if the pacing's off, someone's playing a little quicker than others, right? So just making sure your comms are on point. Make sure, hey, wait for me, I'll get there, let's go now, right? Just that sort of small talk.
A little small talk, yeah.
Especially on rotation.
Just 10 points away from the dub now as they're fighting to get back into it. Silly trying to hold on, but not quite able to do it. Classic having a nice map at 21 and 15. But they have been able to put the final dagger through. We'll see as we get ready for fourth. We'll go to Octane's POV, who's in the hard point. Brig ready to pop. We're kind of watching Silly on the left hit the shots to take out his teammate. Everybody actually falls but Octane. He's going to have to go huge. Was using the rock great for cover, but he was so tagged up. Couldn't quite take the third gunfight.
Yeah, much better job there by Guerrillas on that rotation to get this break, but only 5 more seconds. Can they keep numbers here? Octane again with the pistol finds the kill. 2 more seconds needed. Gunless is going to get on it. Surge win map number 1.
A dominant effort there from Surge with a 142-point victory. Started on the bad side, got the immediate flip. Yeah, as you kind of highlighted, the trades were more on point, especially in some of the breaks. And, well, Joe, what was it? 0-9 between Hardpoint and Surge? There's a Hardpoint on the board.
Yeah, they got something started. One of their go-to maps on Apocalypse. Something that they've really thrived in, right? Because Gunless can run that third 74U. He can run the second Krig just depending on that matchup. Keeps the Krig. He's been their best hardpoint player throughout stage 5. Continues there, but really for me, it's classic because he was 20+ kills in that game number 1, and his hardpoint stats have not been something pretty to look at. So I think you see these guys having some fun, and that's good. And on the other side, Guerrillas 1-18 in 19 hardpoint games. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable. And I wish I was saying that in like a positive way, but that's not good. They're struggling. You can kind of see it on their faces. They're going through it right now. But we'll take a look at the scoreboard here quickly. Yeah, pretty lopsided, but also pretty balanced there. So actually, Classic had the most damage. Interesting. All right, well, Surge, they get that map 1 win. We'll look if they can continue that on in the Search and Destroy. Well, they hadn't got a hardpoint win or Search and Destroy win in stage 5. They get the hardpoint win. Can they get the S&D? Octane's happy. That means people somewhere are happy. We're going to break. We'll be back with the Search.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the US Army. What's your warrior? Presented by USAA. Getting insurance with USAA is easier than level 1. Learn more at usaa.com/insurance.
Octane, he was pumped up after the map 1. All smiles, love to see it, but we're going to talk a little bit about Search and Destroy and maybe why they've been struggling. We're going to check out some of the stats of the team. And Octane, he is ranked 5th. Now, Joe, I heard you say earlier, like out of 48 players. That's not technically correct because some players have come in and out of the league. So 62nd is actually dead last. And that is what Classic is in Search. I know you and I have been critical of his Search play over the course of his career, but dead last of every player to compete in the CDL this year.
That is, yeah, that's not good. And mine was, to the stage, so I think there's only 48. But I see what you're saying.
Overall. Sorry, gotcha.
I know players coming in and out, right? That's obviously one of those things. But yeah, you can see how this team has been struggling in Search.
Yeah, it has been difficult, incredibly difficult for them to get rolling in that mode since Classic comes on the team. Not that they were like lights out in it, but they were finding some wins, obviously. Now struggling to do so. We'll see if they can do it in the map 2. But before we get into the map 2, check out this quick piece.
We made USAA insurance for renters who make the most of their space and money. That's why we make it easy to cover the stuff you love for as little as 33 cents a day. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
All right, players getting ready to go. I guess I find myself now rooting for Surge to win a Search. They got the hardpoint done. I liked how happy Sam was. It's not that I'm a Surge fan, but I like to see the player smile. And that was a real, genuine smile there out of Sam.
Well, then I think if you want, just the Guerrillas, you can tell how down they are. So maybe they can get something going. This is the Moscow where they did win versus Mutineers. Apathy and Mental really put together a solid Search and Destroy. They're 5-5 on this Surge. They're 1-5 struggling throughout the year on this map. So we'll see if Guerrillas can keep that up. But, I'm sure it's been tough for both of these teams kind of dealing with, they have higher expectations for themselves.
Well, yes.
It can just be difficult.
But they've all had incredible up and down points over their careers. Like I saw a tweet from Assault, which is, something along the lines like, I just don't know what to do right now. Like, this is killing me, like how we're struggling. But he was on that EG team back in World War II where they stunk and then they suddenly won champs. I'm not saying like that's something you can possibly do, but I think during any player's career, you've got your up and down moment. You got to survive the down moments to get the big ones.
No, 100%. It's just in that moment, it's tough to deal with every day in practice and. Yeah, so, we feel for those guys, but that's part of competition.
It certainly is, but now, let's take a look at the round 1. See how Guerrillas try to work some magic towards the site. Little 2-2 split out of Surge, and it looks like it's going to be a mid-up Eskies.
I don't see much middle of the map, and well, this is going to be on
That's
Octane,
timing.
and Prestinni is
That's
trying to
timing.
lock this down. Prestinni and Octane, they kind of just push on up, and this is going to work, right? All the normal angles that you're going to check for Guerrillas, they just aren't there. The trade so far in favor of Surge. Prestinni able to get one more before he gets taken down to put his team in a 2v1.
At first, I thought it was going to maybe play out horribly because, like, right as Prestinni gave up that angle to, like, peek it, they weren't there, but it ended up working out beautifully. It's like, nothing here. They started to push up a little bit. And, yeah, I think LAG just completely caught off guard.
Well, and that's why you typically see that one player doing the, whether they're just watching the flank, they're doing the jump over wall. Even if someone from SGs just comes out and turns left and maybe dies, at least they have that info. But what happens is all 4 of them go up escalators. They all go out the same door, and they're just checking the common angles, right? Just where are the players going to set up? There's no trophies down. Let's hit our nades and our tacticals, and they fly out, and they don't see anything. And that's just free pickings for Prestinni and Octane.
Well, they're just going to bully their way onto the site. 4-man hit coming through, but look at the stack defensively. It's here as well. All 8 players in the mix. Who can trade efficiently? It looks like Surge will get the upper hand early. They'll have the 3v2 as we look to get deeper into this second round.
And they're just playing with aggression, right? And why not when, you know, these rounds, well, and what we just saw, Surge just hasn't been great for them on the year. So they're playing 4v4, just aggressive search and destroy, just taking some quick gunfights where Prestinni, Octane are able to come out on top, but now we're in a 2v2.
App checks it. Classic will drop. It all comes down to Gunless. I think in the S&D stats, it's probably the one that shocks me the most. Like, he's just been such a consistent superstar player when he's been competing. He's struggled at times, but can he clutch up here? Able to win the first one. Sinners back to the second, and just like that, Gunless pulls off the 1v2 to put Surge up 2-0.
And just to realize the situation that he's in, right? Assault, he recognizes the bomb is planted on the opposite side. So he thinks maybe he's wrapping through. In Gunless, he finds the first kill, and he's ready for the next gunfight. I think some players in that 1v2 maybe try to slide away, get behind the statue, but he knows he's got the advantage in the gunfight. He's able to win it.
Well, he, like, snaps and pre-fires because he knows he's there. And I'm pretty sure, like, that first kind of pre-fire bullet hits him right as he runs out. He just didn't stand a chance. But, well, that was the reason I was talking about his stats in Surge, surprisingly, because he's capable of stuff like that. Like, Gunless can be an absolute beast. And that'll be a big clutch as he starts out 3-0. Let's see if Guerrillas can get around on the board.
Well, I think it just really comes down to maybe at times you're asking Gunless to find those first bloods, and I think that can be tough because, you know, some of the times we've watched Prestinni in Classic, it's just them dying quick off the map, and you're putting your ARs in Gunless and Octane in like 2-on-4s, right? Like, someone's gonna have to try to make a play after that, and probably 9 times out of 10 it's Gunless, and then he gets picked just like that.
Classic brings it back. And he's gonna get caught though as he tries maybe to wrap towards Eski's side of it. A 2v3 now for Surge. Mental gets away with 15 HP. He was as one bullet as they come. Grills will work it down, but yeah, no, I feel like any of the top teams have like a kind of a solid opener, right? Whether it's I don't know, aBeZy or Envoy or God, I don't know, maybe Kleenex or Cammy. I don't know who would come to mind the most. I'd have to look at the stats to see who's like leading in that. But you know, a guy you trust to go out and win a one-on-one.
I know the stats for Ultra because I looked them up. It's Bance and Cammy. Those are your 2 like first blood leaders for them.
Bance and Cammy.
You're right? It's just
Kleenex and Cammy for some reason. Okay.
Yeah, no, but it's those 2 guys that you kind of rely on. It's surprising because I think Surge do have 2 of those players in Classic and Prestinni with the confidence to at least take a one-on-one. But I don't know. It just feels like a lot of those haven't gone their way this year, and from there, they're not trading effectively. Just maybe their teamwork between each other just not working out. But with Mental able to stay alive, they're able to get the bomb down and win that round.
Yeah, he just barely got out. That would have changed quite a bit if he got caught. Now Surge to try the answer back. First was what? Just a 4-man hit towards A. A little bit different this time, and working out, it'll be Octane. He's going to get dropped. Classic once again gets the trade mid map, but that's bombed down quickly into this round. Assault's now in 3 in a row, 4 and 2, and the 2 Surge players, Prestinni and Gunless, they're They're super split now. It's just, can you find one opener to bring this to a 2 versus 2?
Yeah, you would even think like if this was going to be a B hit, it felt like maybe this was going to be a B up to mid towards A up Eskies, the way they were kind of split. So if this is a B hit, there's probably one more trade there. That's kind of what you're looking for out of Prestinni and Gunless, or Prestinni and Classic. You got one out of Classic, but then when that second player comes there, there's no other Surge players, so you have that man advantage right now for Guerrillas.
Not anymore. 2 versus 2. To get the clean pick, you got to pick a site. Yeah, they opt to play this. They're going to wrap it all the way over towards A. So we're watching Mental, but the action is going to be going over to Silly. He spots both and gets both. Lines them up. Beautiful shots there from Silly. The positioning on point. Guerrillas bring it to 2-2.
That's good patience, I mean, from both of these players, right? Because, I mean, Mental is maybe in a little bit more of a dangerous position where if, you know, they both hit street, maybe they just traded out. The bomb goes down. Silly's got to work all the way across the map, but he doesn't hear anything on the slide. He doesn't hear a Mantle up. So he's probably giving the call. I think they're rotating back to A. Silly just finds that angle, and 2 rounds in a row now for Guerrillas.
Let's see what they go with on this particular hit. The stack is in for Surge. They got 1 mid-map, 3 over towards A. Both teams doing basically the same thing, just kind of on opposite sides of the map.
They're just trying to find info. The man who's got it's going to be Gunless. See, it's hit all the way down to 2 HP, and he's playing on an island. What can he find? He's making an individual play, at least gets one to force this into a 3v3.
Surge is there quickly. They're already in position for a retake. That's why I wonder if you're going to wrap this out if you're Guerrillas, and that looks like that's going to be the call. So they'll wrap it out instantly right as the Surge rotation comes through. You got a wide open A bomb site. And I think they just realized it.
Yeah, Guerrillas, though, with what, that round 1 play are kind of checking everything. They don't have bomb down quite yet. So Surge are going to be in position. Bomb's not being planted. Mental goes for a peek, and Classic able to win that one-on-one.
Classic going huge. That'll be 2. See if you can find a third. Not going to happen. Down to a 1v1 we go. Prestinni versus Silly. 15 seconds on the clock. Bomb's down. Silly's on 4 in a row, but he's got to try and hunt him. Prestinni plays the corner. Surge get the round win. Nice clutch gunfight win there for Prestinni.
Yeah, I mean, Classic, though, he opens this up. And because Guerrillas,
100%.
they clear everything, they're trying to catch Surge checking this bomb. And Mental, he finds the gunfight, but Assault, he just flies on through, goes for the slide, and it just takes a little bit too long. I mean, Classic's still weak, but he gets the second one.
And Silly didn't have a whole lot of options. I mean, he decided to try and win a gunfight. Try to see if anyone's really popping off or working on streaks, but not really. Pretty even all around. Salt spotting for information. Mid will get it in the form of a death. Prestinni gets the first blood. He'll be able to catch him. He'll go from the clutch to a first blood. Making plays for the squad.
And that's what you want to see from a player like Prestinni, right? Just getting aggressive, finding that opening, getting that first blood. It's where they've struggled. Now he's kind of by himself. But Gunless is watching the flank. Prestinni's out of there. He spots Mental. Mental not able to hit some shots, and you're now into a 4-on-2.
Octane with the beams. Trades in, but should be traded on the other side or not. Mental gets the shot punch in. Can he pull off? 1 versus 4. There's not much time to work with. Down to a 1 versus 1. He's going to insta-hop it. Plays for the chow. Gunless plays the time. Gunless will win the round, but my God, Mental made that one interesting, and I understand why he's been looking better in Search.
But this has been kind of the struggles from, I think, Surge, is you're going to see, like, he's just flying on out, right? I mean, the trade is not there. That has to be more efficient from Classic, or you just don't go for it. Even if he gets the kill, he's only got hit by 1 bullet. But Classic tries to take the challenge, and you kind of leave your teammates. Luckily, they had the bomb planted. The time was on their side.
Yeah, you just sort of send Prestinni in to check, okay, I died, he's not on it. Then Gunless just has to play the time. So I want to get really hyped for that because it would have been awesome if he pulled it off, but that would have taken a giant mistake, considering the time on the clock from Surge. But they've pulled ahead by 2 rounds again. Now heading back over to mid-map will be Guerrillas. It'll be Gunless kind of alone on that B site once again. Last time he was at least able to go 1 for 1. And then we got into the rest of the song and dance. He's going to have pressure, but this time it's a little bit more delayed, so the rotation already starting from Surge. Well, Octane's feet just a bloody mess.
Yeah, he doesn't have feet anymore. Oh, but Assault checks it, but Gunless with the 74U in that corner, able to win it. He buys time for Classic, who is there on that rotation.
Classic has been huge with some of these multi-kills and trades. He'll get 3. Classic, he saw the stat. He's like, I'm stepping up today in Search.
Okay. Maybe he found an S&D 101, like book at the library. You read it? He's locked in today.
Well, there were, I feel like when we watched them sometimes, like, I know you talked about maybe Prestinni and Gunless struggle, or sorry, Prestinni and Classic struggling and putting maybe Octane and Gunless in tough spots, but like, we were watching the other day and like, it was like Classic last alive several times during clutch situations. Like, maybe he wasn't in the right position to trade and fight with his teammates, and there could be a lot of different things that lead to that, but seems like when he's in the spots and they've got like 3 or 4 there and he's the trade, he's doing a great job this map.
I mean, listen, when he knows where he's got to go and where he's got to aim, yeah, he can make plays like that.
So he's like me. Like, I just need your brain to tell me what to do. Like, the game's much easier when I can do that. You just talk to me, tell me to do this. I got it. I'll hit it.
Basically, yeah. I mean, that's that. Sometimes there's just players like that, right? Just kind of tell me what to do. Where do I have to go? And since then, he's been winning gunfights in Seattle Surge. They're gonna win a Search to Destroy as well in Stage 5.
There we go. No more zeros across the stat line for Surge as they get the dub, and it was a dominant hardpoint win. They get it done here, but yeah, no, I mean, I've always noticed that as a player. I'm sure a lot of people could speak to that. Like, whether it's on a multiplayer and like playing Search or Warzone or anything, like when you're last alive scenario, and yeah, I've got somebody like you just be like, oh, do this, you should do that. Like, some people don't like that. I love it. Yeah, tell me what to do. Just put me in a spot where I can shoot straight. I'm ready to go. But whatever it is, Classic was making plays. We've got smiles and giggles from Octane once again. Obviously, frustrating year, but maybe, just maybe, they come in here, they get a 3-0, they make a run to the top 4 at the next major.
That smile, that darn smile. Yeah, maybe that'll happen. Maybe it'll happen. You'll never know. Building some momentum here, but just look at your stats. What, Gunless as well, 9-4. Talked about maybe his S&D struggles. He made a lot of individual plays playing that towards that B site. And on the other side, I mean, it was pretty even from the Guerrillas. It just felt like the trades weren't as effective as they needed to be. Kind of what we saw in that game number 1.
No, you're 100% right, but we're going to check out the U.S. Army tactical play, and this is an example of the trading done right. This is going to be Classic. A couple rounds ago, we were going through, I think he got 3 in the round, just picking up all the plays after his teammates drop. We'll watch it one more time as Nicky D was in position here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a round where Gunless is kind of playing an off angle, but he's got a 74U here, right? And Assault reads this. Assault is able to hit the first blood, and he has an idea of where this next player is. But this is a situation where you would like Silly to immediately follow him up, right? Like, go in there and get the trade, but now it's too late. Apathy, he goes for a gunfight, he loses one. Then it's Silly. They don't go at the same time, so there's just some pacing there. Classic, he's alive. Mental, he's the last one up on an island, and, well, that's a free kill for Classic.
Classic had a nice surge. Mental almost had a crazy 1v4. Some wild stuff going down in the game too, but we'll get ready for the control, see if Surge can cap off a 3-0 before heading to Major 5. We'll be right back.
Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. Call of Duty League is brought to you by T-Mobile. T-Mobile is the shot caller in 5G. Lead the game from the lobby to the last push with America's largest, fastest, and now most reliable 5G network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. LAG trying to avoid getting knocked out in 3-0 fashion here. We're going to take a look at their control KD over this season. I know it's been a difficult one, but the only one above a 1 was Chino, who's not currently on the team.
Yeah, and I think if you look at like the bottom 3, Silly, Apathy, and Mental, because Silly was playing a sub role for a little bit, it kind of just speaks to the volumes, right? Just, a lot of the times in control, especially offensively, when you're trying to take a point, it does fall onto the subs to get into the, the defensive base, or, if you look at a map like Raid, to get inside a kitchen and control that. And when those players are struggling, yeah, you're not going to win a lot of controls.
I mean, how many times have we been casting Raid, and it's like they'll win apartment side, they get water side control, but they can't win kitchen side, then the pinch isn't there. Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of give and take when it comes to the AR and SMG, so there always has been. But as we get prepped and ready for this, like, I don't know, can they do it? Can they stay alive in this, Joe, or is it ending here?
I think it's going to end here. I'm going to go with. It's looking like Surge is just having too much fun. So and you can see for the Guerrilla side, it seems like the stress is getting to them. They seem stressed out, honestly. It's tough to deal with, but I think the Surge guys, they're vibing.
Well, before we get into the map 3, a quick word from our sponsor.
We made USAA insurance for renters who make the most of their space and money. That's why we make it easy to cover the stuff you love for as little as 33 cents a day. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
We're going to take one more look at our maps and modes. Well, maybe more than one, depending if this extends. But if you joined us late, this is how it's gone. Dominant in both of the opening 2 maps for Seattle. Really controlled from the get-go. I mean, they go up about 60 in the hard point right off the break. They go up 2-0 in the search. They've been striking early, and they haven't been looking back.
Yeah, and I mean, Garrison control for Surge. I mean, you're 0-3 in this stage, but that is when things finally started clicking for you in control where, yeah, I mean, you found some early wins on the other side for Guerrillas. It was all about Raid. They did find, I think, a few on Garrison, but since then, not much. They haven't found a win throughout Stage 5 in control. So we'll see if they can get on the board. We've been adding ones to the column. Maybe it's Guerrillas' turn.
Yeah, no, it absolutely could be. But what do you think is separated? Like the really good control teams. You talk about the people that have won events, whether it's been an Ultra, it's been a FaZe. First teams that like can't manage to win it. Like, I know there's individual player skill, but what's like maybe the team mechanic that separates them the most?
I think when I watch control, it's kind of what we talked about when we were looking at the stats. I look at the sub duo because I just think that the player's ability to stay alive in certain scenarios, whether it's a Kleenex or a Bans, an aBeZy or a Simp, Scump and an Envoy, when you're watching that sub duo work a control map, you can see how tough when they get to their spots, like on a Garrison, if they can get offensively into bricks, how long can they stay alive? How long can they make that defensive team's life living hell? Because a lot of the times it's about getting your ARs right over towards A, over towards back satellite. So to me, that's the difference maker.
Well, I find that funny because I remember thinking about Scump and why this title kind of worked for him, because like there were times he was criticized early in his career for maybe not being aggressive enough of a sub or valuing his life too much, like playing a little bit slow. This game, it feels like in most circumstances, like you just want to value your life. I know it's not 100% of the time, but like more than some titles, like you just stay alive. If you want to play yourself a little bit, do it.
Yeah, I think that's something over the last couple of years that has really stood out in COD. I think even since like Labs 4, right, when you talked about like Stim, that was really what it was about. It's about getting information, and it's kind of the same thing. Can you use your movement and your ability to finesse around the map to give your team more options on what they need to do? And you're really starting to see it shine more and more throughout this title.
Let's see if Guerrillas can shine here. Is a Silly trying to snap. Mental will be the one that actually gets through on the kill, and they found some progress out of the point. Nice gunfight win for Mental. teammate there on the help as aBeZy is now here, and that might be the B point. Let's see how Surge react.
Well, that's 2 kills now. Now they're going to try and take Catwalk, and you're going to see Classy. He's going to fly off the top green right away, and I think that's going to be the call for the retake, and it is. As soon as those 2 players die at A, boom, Seattle Surge know that they can go on that flank. They can fly out middle of the map, and now there's only 45 seconds left. Assault and Silly do find a couple of kills, so it allows them to, you know, get out of that offensive spawn. They have to rework middle of the map, get map control from Surge.
Trying to do that, but not a ton of time to work with. Gunless has gotten back to top green. Classic coming off the nice search and destroy. He's got a bit of a fight on his hands. He goes for the peek, and while everybody is there, his squad's got the cross, trying to get a little cheeky. Fire from underneath, and peekaboo, and he comes. Nice movement, nice plays here from Classic to stay up.
And that's one of those plays, right, where maybe he goes for that second challenge, and he does end up going for it, but he stays alive.
Yeah, he waited for his health to come back. I think he was still at like 20 when he peeked.
Was he? I thought he was just trying to buy time for someone to help him, but Octane's there. Maybe the 1 kill works out. Now can they get on this point, or aBeZy? I think he's going to cap it as they head over to A.
And that might be a tough death there for Prestinni. Is this relay into something for Guerrillas? It doesn't look like his teammates pick it up, but sometimes you see that quick death right before or after the cap, and things get a little bit scary, but trust his teammates to make the play, and Classic gets right back to the finesse game mid.
Yeah, I think they knew that Classic had top green. That's when you really see that scenario hurt you. If you lose top green, they can kind of slide out to A, and then you have a death at the old point. But Silly able to work through towards Bricks, is able to find 1, and this is the position I'm talking about. Yeah, Mental and aBeZy here. How long can they stay alive? Can they, you know, make the defenders focus on them so your ARs can get out to the A point? He's not finding much. He's getting some really bad timing on Prestinni. But off a spawn, Classic, he's going to get taken down. But it's a nice trade by Octane.
Under 30 to go, 2 life advantage for Guerrillas. You need to be efficient here on defense if you're Surge. Sometimes you don't have a lot of choices in the efficiency side of stuff when they're flying at you, but they need to try to be. Silly wins the gunfight. Nice patience. The times are rolling. They got to get onto it. aBeZy with an opener. They got a chance. Someone's got to get on the point, though, and it's not going to happen. I know you have to get the kills first, but it develops a little too slowly. Never a chance on the objective.
Yeah, we saw it just at the end of that game, the round, right? One player is just mantling up in the top green, but this was the retake. You know, if aBeZy and Mental, if their teammates around them are able to stay alive, you would have got done with B. Probably had a minute 45, 2 minutes to work with, and maybe they get the round win. But the time, it hurts them. The retake, good job by Seattle there. They end up losing the point, but it costs the Guerrillas a lot of time.
Well, just like every mode so far, it's Surge striking first. Guerrillas desperately need a defensive win here, and well, Octane opens things up nicely. That's Mental. Just hit the shots of the sub from the window. But Surge do get onto the point. Prestinni. He's pistol out. Just bring it. He wants the gunfight.
Yeah, Classic as well, just cutting off the brace rotation. This is just job well done from Seattle Surge, just right off the break. Classic able to get another one. You're going to see Mental, Silly have to rotate over towards A. They got to set up for this A defense. Well, you have 2 minutes and 15 seconds to work with now if you are Surge.
Well, because they had, what, 2 over towards A defensively off the break? It ended up wrapping towards green. Yeah, so Octane winning that first gunfight. Like, there was, like, nothing there.
You only had one player towards B, and then Classic was roaming middle of the map, so you just know it's kind of wide open now. Classic in this spot. This is where I was talking about. Able to find 1 and continues to finesse. Prestinni gets another, and you can see what this does defensively to these teams. Silly and aBeZy just trying to stay alive. Can they hold on?
I'll just be silly now, and the answer is no for both. This Samuel Octane LaRue puts him down, and Prestinni, he's streaking on 6 in a row now. First bit of progress is done. He's putting people on skates. The strafe was on point. This isn't a strafe, that's just quality beams. His Guerrillas were getting put down, but can they clutch up in the final seconds to hold on for a bit longer? It appears they can. Gunless will be the last one on it.
Oh, so close.
I see. He hit that. Yeah, he might close it out there, but App goes huge.
As you can see, they're all just like desperation. They're trying to finish this round off, but they go one by one, and aBeZy is able to find 2 kills, and, well, they're still alive. But you do have streaks to work with now, right? You have that artillery if you want front Prestinni.
And now just slow it down, regroup. But I get it. I mean, I get the desperation there. Like, it's so close, right? You just need a sliver.
One tick.
Yeah, that's a little bit different now, so take your time, and it looks like the streak is going to come in. So one at the point, kind of one at the cut, one deeper towards spawn. It'll funnel them mostly into bricks. Assault.
I think the time ran out. I think he just went out of bounds for too long.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He just gone out of bounds and not come back in. Okay, well, behind that, he drops a Surge pick up 2 more kills, and then they get right back on to cap the final bit of progress.
And that's just a good start. And then what? Prestinni and Classic just working inside. Octane opens up that point. A good job by Guerrillas to retake it. But you had the streak come in, and the streak just isolates the players from Guerrillas. And they know that they're just going to fly out. They only need a little bit of objective work. And Assault, well, he just gets caught out of bounds. And, yeah, I mean, he dodges it, though, so you got to give him props.
Yeah, that's not the easiest thing to do.
Valiant efforts.
Surge for this round win. The 3-0 the control, the 3-0 the series. And it'll be a quick one. If Guerrillas can do better on the offensive side of things. Classic, though, continues just go off mid-map. There's 2 more at 16 and 12, having himself one hell of a series. Lead and damage in the map 1, flushed up in the map 2. Big plays once again in a key position here in the map 3. He's just running through them.
Well, and we're right. That's what I want to get into aBeZy, right? That's the guy that he's going to have a number of ones against, and you want to see him coming on top, and he's been doing that throughout this series. So nice job here so far from Class, and you can see what this does for Guerrillas. Already half the time are gone. They've hardly gotten a chance to work B.
Does that ever become a thing for you, like when you're a player? Like, if there is a guy, you know, you're fighting more often than not. If you're like the losing, get in your head a little bit.
100%, yeah. And then if you're winning it, you're looking for that player, without a doubt. You want it to be them.
I just know it gets a little messy. COD's fast, right? You're fighting everybody at times, but I'm sure there's some that stick with you for sure. But it's Guerrillas sticking with the B point for now. We'll see if they can get that extra minute of time. But the defense from Surge was good early on. We're about even in lives. Classic, though, is going to stop this for now. They were just about to get it done. He takes down the guy on the objective and gets shot in the back, but it's a big kill because then Gunless is now in position, and that time continues to dwindle.
I mean, maybe that's like when you're gaming, right? You remember the names. You're like, it's the same guy. He got me again. Yeah, I know you do. Yeah. Of course, yeah. They remember. Doesn't matter what you're playing. You always remember the name, especially if they have your number.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's just like, I don't know. I know how crazy COD can be. If that's like something as a pro player, it's really crossing your mind. But I guess I'm sure it's hard to avoid. You lose like 3 gunfights in a row, and you're like, ah! The rage starts to flow through you. Yeah. Well, I thought for a second the zone might be over, but now it's Octane in the spot. A nade through from Classic. And Guerrillas are throwing everything they've got to get this point, but everything in the way of lives. Because now look at that separation. From basically tied to a big gap. They can't get on the point, and Surge close it out. A dominant 3-0 victory to take into Major 5. And I mean, there's not a lot you can look for right now as these teams, considering how you performed this year and where you're placed overall. But if you're going to do something to make some noise, it's in Major 5. And I guess for me, at least Surge has taken, I don't know, maybe a slightly more positive outlook going into that with a nice win here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a Surge fan, you see the way Classic is played, right, especially in the series. Yeah, I think you like that. Octane's smiling. It feels like they were really flowing. Their teamwork was on point throughout that series. So you take the victory, and who knows what will happen at the Major.
Yeah, and you've kind of said that, you know, at the Major, they'll be playing kind of without pressure. And I guess for me at times, it sort of felt like that for me already because how low they were in the standings, but it didn't really become a thing till what, like a couple weeks ago, like where it really was like, okay, like we're really playing without pressure now. Like we're not gonna qualify the playoff. Maybe we will see a different team at the Major. I don't know.
I think that is true up until a point. You know, I think you even saw it at like Major 4. Like, you know, you get those first couple of wins, and then there's some expectation to say, okay, this is the right. We saw that at Major 4. Okay, maybe this is the surge that we've wanted to see all year long. The team on land, but they go up against a big name, they lose that series, and it's like, dang, that kind of just fell flat on its face.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'll see how it goes. See if they can make any kind of run. But we're going to check out our scuff play of the game. It's going to be the closing to the round 2 as Surge were able to go big offensively. They locked down defensively as well. But there were some big moments there throughout the course of it to close out the offense, which is the key win in control. And, Joe, we can look at it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that momentum, right, when you go up 2-0. But it's a nice start there. And then just from this break-off, what they're able to do, right? Because you can kind of see Guerrillas are at a standstill. With this nice shots from Prestinni, able to find one. Silly has to back on up, and those players off a spawn, they're running into Classic, middle of the map. It's nice positioning from him. So 2 ticks are done at B. They got to go towards A. And with 2 minutes and, 18 seconds on the clock, they have so much time to work with, but it's Classic and Prestinni who are able to get inside of bricks. Prestinni gets that artillery, and that's how they close this round out.
Well, smiles once again as we can't get enough of it from Octane. It's beautiful. But we are going to talk a bit about Major 5 that is coming up. I know we've been alluding to it or discussing it a bit offhand throughout the course of it. But tickets are on sale for this still. It's going to be at Esports Stadium, Arlington. You see the link below. It is next weekend. And, yeah, I mean, it's the first time. It's the first time we've had fans in what feels like forever. So if you want to see everybody, if you want to have a good time, this is the time to do it. But that's going to do it for our first series. We've got 2 more to come. Out of the break here, we'll have Lottie with Octane for an interview.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Unlock a CDL team pack with any purchase on gamefuel.com/CDL while supplies last. Offer ends on August 31st. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
Hello everybody and welcome to your GameFuel Victory Spotlight. Joining me I have Octane from Seattle Surge. Big win there, man. 3-0, big stuff.
Yeah, toilet bowl champions, baby.
Yes, hey, I'm not going to put it that way. I'll leave that one for you, man. But yeah, not exactly the season that you guys had hoped for. Let's just be perfectly honest there. But good news for you though, Sam. You know, LAN is coming up next, and you guys did pretty damn well on our first LAN tournament. So are you looking forward to getting into Major 5?
I always look forward to playing on LAN. You know, we overperformed, even though we did play some lesser opponents in London and Paris last time. But I don't know. I mean, playing on LAN, I'm always excited for it. Hopefully, we can come out and perform better than we did. All I know is that we won the toilet bowl, and that's the championship that the Seattle Surge needed right there.
It was indeed. Now, I got to ask you about the matchup. LAG, obviously. Were you practicing anything in that series at all heading into the major?
No, we were kind of trolling, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really think there was any in-depth practicing whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, it was just having a good time, to be honest with you. There was nothing really too deep to get into for that. We were just laughing and having a good time.
I feel you, man. You've got to have a good time doing your craft, no matter what the outcome there. And that happened to be 3-0 for you guys. Now, of course, Octane, you are the leader of your team. And, you know, it's important as a leader to send messages to them. And I want to know, what is your message going to be to the rest of the team as you finish off your season next week?
Well, we're not going to champs, so you know, let's show up to Major 5 and make some money, have a good laugh, and see what we can do. We can still play upset. I know there's a whole bunch of like second seed in like the race for the second seed and other stuff going on for champs. So you know, play spoiler, win some cash, have a good laugh, and end the season with a bang. That's all we're here for, Lottie.
I love it, Sam. I think that is a perfect message, and I'm going to be watching out for you guys doing just that. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Love winners interviews. Few and far between.
You made it. You made it, Octane. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Let's go.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do have another match for you guys coming your way very shortly. We're going to have our T-Mobile 5G weekly drop, and it is going to be a bit of a battle here. We have the big boys of the league, Atlanta FaZe, versus New York Subliners, who are looking to prove a point with their new team dynamic. Match 2 coming your way right after the break.
Welcome back for match number 2, a live, beautiful shot of Seattle in all its glory. As we just saw, Seattle Surge get a nice 3-0 victory to head into Major 5. We now take our focus to the next matchup, which will be in YSL. Clacer steps down for now. Diamondcon fills in. They get a Game 5 win in their first match. And, well, FaZe, they're looking to bounce back. You know, they had a Game 5 loss to OpTic. I think sometimes teams need a reminder, especially when they've been winning in the way they do. But I expect there was a bit of a mental change for them, like a little more focus on practice, just get back to the basics.
Yeah, I think you saw, you know, the guys talk about it afterwards on social media. Just like, okay, that's what we needed at this time. Let's get back to it. Like, I mean, that's just human nature, where you're doing things that are working so well, and someone finally catches up to you. So, yeah, just a reminder of boom, we can be beat.
100%. Just a reminder, this is our T-Mobile 5G weekly drop match. You see at the bottom of the screen. Text T-Mo tickets to 313131 for your chance to win. But we'll be highlighting that throughout the course of the broadcast, so you can get in later if you don't right now. But yeah, I guess for me, the first thing I thought after FaZe lost to OpTic was I pity the team that FaZe plays next, because I just know how that's worked in the history of sports or esports. A team that is the best. That is supposed to win. When they lose, they usually get back to the grind and a little more ferocious. But we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I imagine they're going to come out with some heat.
Yeah, I think so as well. You know, this obviously isn't the matchup maybe we thought this would be at the beginning of Stage 5, right? With, you know, Asim back and them getting their original lineup that we saw in Stage 3. But, you know, NYSL is going to try to do what they can. They were able to clutch up in a Game 5. It's not Atlanta FaZe, it was Paris Legion. But, you know, another week of practice is under their belt. Maybe they saw some things that OpTic did that they liked. So we'll see what adjustments FaZe make off that loss.
No, 100%. It's going to be interesting to say the least. But let's kick it off by meeting our squads. We'll start off with Atlanta FaZe.
The game has turned on its head.
Run! Run! Get onto the point! Cellium finds himself 2 more. Oh, baby! Absolutely slayed it. What a magnificent comeback from Atlanta.
Atlanta FaZe looking to rebound from one of their few losses on the year. I mean, we showed the stats earlier. They haven't had many. They get a reminder they are not invincible. Now, how do they approach it coming into this match as aBeZy, Arcitys, Cellium, and Simp look to get back on track, Joe?
And I mean, here's the thing too. It's not like they got blown out by any means, right? Maybe that game 1 Moscow, but after that, it was a back and forth battle. They still had some things they liked, right? They had some mid-game adjustments in Search and Destroy. The fact is, it was a fun series, right? It was just 2 slaying power teams going back and forth. But they probably learned some things, and they, I'm sure, felt like it was an off day. And yeah, now they have to get back on track.
Well, maybe the guys didn't like to lose and go all 5 maps, but I can tell you, if I was a member of their coaching staff, I would love that. Get all those reps in, a loss is a reminder. Like, I'm sure there was some happy on the side of FaZe, but on the other side of it, trying to give FaZe back-to-back losses and continue their winning streak now with the change in roster is the Subliners. Let's take a look at NYSL. First one, he just jumps on in, a flurry of kills through. Mack, though. Mack gets 3. What a second half of the hardpoint he had. Nails all 4. The ace for Big Mack. Upward timing, he gets flushed out. But Asim and Mack, that crossfire so good. Asim, all 4, give it to him. Takes down the entire side of FaZe.
Just an efficient work right now. Is HyDra, he has the entire team straight in front of him, gets a couple shots. Now look how much he just slows them down.
Can he get the defuse player? He does. 23 seconds left on the clock. 1 more to deal with for Clay. This would be massive.
NYSL looking to get back-to-back wins, and yeah, maybe it wasn't the most impressive win, but I think it was, when you look at it on paper, when you think about the fact they just made the change, it's a good win. And as you said, like, now they have like a little more time to prep. How much better can they get?
Yeah, I think really what you see in that first series is, you know, HyDra played really well. I think Mack got going, especially the second half of the series, and as compared to Stage 4, he's just not there yet throughout Stage 5 and hasn't been there yet. Now you have Asim back. Like, there is elements of success for this team. I mean, even with Diamondcon, don't forget the fact, Stage 1, they had top 4? I mean, they know what they have to do. So, yeah, it's just going to take time, and who knows what happens. But over to our Game Fuel Keys victory for the NYSL. I mean, with Clay not here, we know how big of a leader, a communicator he is. I look at Mack and Asim to step up. They have to fill that void. In HyDra, he was making individual plays, and he's going to have to do that. When he's put in those situations, he's going to have to win, 2 gunfights, especially against Atlanta FaZe. And then Diamondcon, he seems comfortable in Search and Destroy, but he's got to find some rhythm in the respawns. He was negative 15 versus Legion. In the hard points, he's got to be better there.
Well, you think if anyone's going to improve with just more reps in, it would be him. I mean, the team as a whole, absolutely, but just individually, getting back to this level of competition, every match played, you got to think is going to benefit him. Now for Atlanta FaZe, Joe, what were you looking at?
Well, I want to see Slam Power right out of the gates, right? I mean, RC selling aBeZy, they were combined -21 in the game 1 versus OpTic. I want to see them come out with some firepower and kind of make that statement. Help aBeZy find rhythm early in Search and Destroy. Remember in game 2 that Miami, when he started off 3-7, then he got going, they came back and won. Game 5, though, they didn't make that comeback, right? He had a couple of slow games in Search. I want to see them, you know, work with aBeZy, make sure he's comfortable. And then even after a map, after a loss, eyes on the prize, continue to work on the maps. They believe they need to win Major 5 in playoffs.
Did you put the Z there in eyes? Was that
No,
you
I
being
did
like
not.
hip or something? Oh, okay. I
No,
was
I did
wondering.
not.
I was like,
I could see on my notes that is not a Z, it's an X, so I did not do that. Do not put that one on me.
Is
No.
this some sort of play on words or something that I'm missing here?
Nope,
Okay,
I got my notes right in front of me. I know what I sense.
Let's take a look at the quick scope now presented by Scump. We just check it out before every matchup to kind of show where teams have been throughout the course of the year, maybe where they've improved. But yeah, obviously FaZe going to be leading the way. There's been some nice stretches, some really good stretches out of New York, but there's been some rough ones as well.
Yeah, I think you stage 3 in the hard point, that's where that hard point is. That's probably why it's at a +12 right now. Search and Destroy, they've been pretty solid throughout the year, but the big advantage for Atlanta FaZe is going to be in that control. I mean, 33-9 versus 15-23.
Well, that's how they break down over the course of the year, but anything goes here. Once we get into our best of 5, we'll take a look at the overall maps and modes, and we'll go Checkmate, Express, Garrison, Raid, and Standoff. Anything that piqued your interest when you first looked at it?
Both the searches for FaZe. I mean, you're a combined 6-10 on that. That's probably their 2 weakest searches. So they are sticking with that. You probably throw Miami in there as their bottom 3, but they're going with Search and Destroys that they are not very strong on. Maybe another one in there that they haven't played a ton of is Hardpoint on Checkmate, where they're 6-3. So there's definitely some strong maps here for NYSL. You have a 5-0 on Standoff if they can get it to a game 5. The first couple look great for them, but again, a different roster.
Well, I think now, I mean, they've showed a willingness to try to get better on maps, even when it seemed crazy to do it. This is like the perfect time to do it. You're about to head into a major win or loss here. They're still in that 2nd spot. So perfect time to try and improve in the few weaknesses they have.
Yeah, 100%. I think to them, it's probably a lot on, well, even some of those hard points, right? Like, you know, what we saw from OpTic, it felt like they lose that Moscow, but when was the last time they played Moscow in an official match? It's probably been some time. So getting maybe some of these reps on some of the maps they haven't played a ton of in Respawn, so they maybe can fix a few of the mistakes that they have gotten the last couple of repetitions. And then in the searches, yeah, like, just don't have that weakness. It really seems like Standoff seems to be that one map that they're kind of looking at to add.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a focus on that for sure. And I mean, granted, we talked a lot about them trying to get better at Apocalypse, even though they lost like the first 3 times we casted it. But look how big it was for them at the major in the final versus Empire. So the work can pay off 100%. Not always, but usually more practice leads to better play. And well, that's a great play from FaZe off the break. That's going to be 4 down for Subliners. All the control in the world. HyDra has kind of leaked towards that side or P2, but great opening from FaZe.
Yeah, HyDra, he just kind of spawns out, maybe just a little bit far forward. That spawn point opens up, and that's going to bail them out a bit. NYSL as Asim and HyDra are going to find some kills. But yeah, able to find the first 26 seconds. You see Cellium spawns out, so the other 3 players just trying to hold on to the right side of the map.
Well, Diamondcon finds a big one towards the point. I think that was Simp he was able to take out. The one guy that's really going to be deep right now will be Arcitys. And I like this kind of laying prone, waiting for some teammate help, just holding the back push, and then when will he pounce? But right as he goes to push it, unfortunately, HyDra went the other way. And well, that second gunfight for HyDra, not one you're going to typically win at that range with a sub in hand, even though we've seen him do it at times.
Yeah, but that could be one of those plays like where you're going to need HyDra to find that second kill. If NYSL want to win this, those individual plays I was talking about, right? When he gets put into situations where he's kind of isolated, has to bail them out, he's got to do it. He finds that second one. Maybe Atlanta FaZe players have to turn around, focus on him. He blocks spawns. There's a lot that can happen once that domino falls, but instead he dies, and Atlanta FaZe now in complete control as 3 go down.
All right, aBeZy, he's on 6 in a row, 7-1 start. Kick it off with the sub, now doing it with both. He'll have the Krig out for now. is trying to find a freebie on a cross, but Arcitys is sending everybody on NYSL back to spawn. In comes the flip. It's 2 spawning out deep for NYSL, and Simp pushes forward, then he picks it up. And I thought he almost was going to kill both. That was nearly insane out of Simp, but he'll end up dropping.
Yeah, off of spawn though. Cell though still on a spree. See if he can earn some streaks.
Did aBeZy? I started focusing on the flip. Did aBeZy get the streaks?
I'm not sure. Flip to Cell.
Cell might.
Well, he's close.
Yeah. I started looking at the mini map the entire time. Didn't even see if he got the next one. So he did not. Okay. So he ended it on 6. Cell, I think right as we swap, Cell's gonna drop. 10 and 2 still a nice start.
No, and I mean the scoreline is almost 100 points. This is what you wanted to see, a bounce back game, kind of what you talked about. You don't want to be the team on the other side of it. Is Cell, I think that is going to... Okay, he comes off spawn and finds 2 more. So no streaks for Atlanta FaZe, but complete control of the map, complete control of the game.
And I think if you're NYSL, I mean, if we're thinking about it as the commentators, you had to be thinking about that as a player. Like, FaZe lost, they're going to come in hungry. You have to deal with that first punch, and you have to then try to answer back. The first punch has been thrown. Now it's NYSL's turn to get rolling. Let's go to Astro Gaming Listen In with NYSL.
Ali, Mack, I'm playing dead. Nice. Play this time. Play this time. I'm landing over you.
Grenading me.
Back weak. Mack really weak. I needed it. Oh, my bad.
Feeding.
Tyler, moving.
Tyler, try to move.
Yellow street. Hold in. Yellow street again. Yoshi, Asim. Push. Time. We didn't put my spawn deep there. Asim, what are you doing? Nice. No, nothing.
Got down, I'm spawning in.
Go top lane. Good time.
Yeah.
Go.
I'm staying alive.
Top lane, HyDra. Yo, 2 minutes spawned out because that guy.
HyDra awake.
MC, P2.
HyDra did on new. Behind me. Mack, absolutely. Red crates. Went to the left. Right here. Good job.
All good time.
I got time, yeah. I've got you.
Tax my top lane. Someone's trying. Ali, weak. Diamond, Ali.
First look my front plate. I'm in absolute.
I am front. I was back out in front. Get back, Ali. Yeah.
Look at my
I can't back then. Diamond done. Okay.
Try to get the new.
One shot front wood.
I see him.
Bottom plane. Up in front. Yeah, get new, guys. Last one, Asim.
Yeah, we should.
Could be hitting long.
Asim very weak.
No, in new. They're all going new.
Okay, so not only did you have to deal with Tenet, but apologies there is, that was the FaZe comms. So you got to hear the FaZe comms while watching NYSL deal with it, you know? Maybe this is some sort of Christopher Nolan movie in the works there. I'm not entirely sure, but sorry about that, but we'll get right back to the game action. The lead has just grown for FaZe.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, you kind of heard the comments. Very intense, kind of where they need to go, where they need to be. Trying to focus on that next hill. Well, inside, it's going to be Arcitys and aBeZy trying to get those trades. The Simp is on another spree, and yeah, I mean, they're just doing kind of what we expected, right, coming into this with a bounce-back game number 1.
Well, I think we talked a lot at the beginning of the year about FaZe, and we talked with Crowder a ton, and you know, his big thing was all about the fundamentals and kind of the mental toughness to not get complacent and really work on that. And I think they really did work on it, but I'm sure you as a player can speak to, like, it's kind of, I think it's kind of impossible not for that to set in, at least in some capacity. Maybe if you don't realize it is, like when you're getting to every grand final, when you're winning as much as FaZe have.
Well, I think it's just, you have to be reminded sometimes, and you know, we can discuss formats and all this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The fact is they had such a good year last year, yada yada. They lost 1 series and they didn't win a world championship, and they have to hone in on that. You lose 1 series while being a best of 9. You lose 1 and that's it. It's like the year is as much work as you did is out the window, and they have to be reminded, like, oh yeah, we lost a series, but yeah, if you lose a series later, you might not be world champions again.
100%. Yeah, I mean, the upset potential is just always going to be there. With how Call of Duty is, the fact it's changing every year, the evolution of it, like, you have to be on point at all times, especially the big ones, and we'll see if the work pays off at the end of the year, but it's paying off right now. RCs will get a triple. They're about to eclipse the 200-point mark. Simp continues to lead the way. Asim and NYSL try to bring it back. And, you know, I really want to see how these guys start to improve with Diamondcon, because, you know, if Clay wasn't in the right mental place, then they can. I mean, Diamondcon shows he's a great player. It's just, unfortunately, this match might not be what's going to show it.
Yeah, and I mean, you just got to think, too, what, a couple of stages ago, NYSL, this was a team that were kind of a pain for FaZe to deal with. They lost 2 best-of-5s in Game 5s to them, one being at the Major and a Winners Final. Yeah. So this is a team that, you know, they've given FaZe some tough times. But I think I do give a lot of credit to that. It's kind of being, you know, Clay, but they have to learn from that. Like, what did we do prep-wise? Because that's really what it was. Clay is a guy with all of his experience that knows it's one series, right? Kind of what it is. Like, how do we win 3 maps? We saw it last year with Empire in the championship finals. They had a plan, and they executed it. Now, NYSL, it's not a great game 1, but, you know, what can you do from this and get back into the series?
Yeah, they've got a great coaching staff over there, and I'm sure they're going to be doing everything they can to improve, because you've just got a ton of cash on the line in the coming weeks and months. The year is starting to get to its massive conclusion. FaZe here looking for a conclusion to this map 1. Just 15 more points needed to top off a dominant effort in the map 1. And I mean, I think it started with 4 down. They got playing control and just do not look back. aBeZy, he's got the streaks locked and loaded. He'll try to wrap in the cruise missile, get him out of the point. You see it come in, beautiful view there. Shout out to the observers. They've just been crushing it. If you haven't checked out the YouTube video on the Call of Duty YouTube, talk about the observers, the work that goes into it, how their team works together. It's sensational. It's come a long way since I first started. I had to control the damn thing with a controller in hand, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, I don't know how that missile doesn't kill Mack. I don't know what he did to avoid that. Because since that missile landed, it's been all NYSL. As HyDra, he's able to find a multi-kill. But Simp, he was waiting on the flank the entire time, setting that up. As soon as that missile comes on in, he's able to make the play, flip the spawns for Atlanta FaZe, going over to P5.
Combination of big brain and talent coming together in this map 1. We'll see if they can finish it up here as we rotate over into the point. Goes Cell, that'll be the time, that'll be the map 1, and I expected them to come out hot, and it was clean too. I mean, whether you're talking about, well, I mean, when you're flying like that, it makes it a little bit easier, but just positioning and gunning up point.
Yeah, I mean, there was no slow slaying start here. I think aBeZy and Simp both almost dropped 30. aBeZy hits 30. I think Simp 29. You had Cellium on a spree at some point. That was their plan throughout the entire map, and you know, it was dominant hardpoint performance.
Beautifully done. And you know, we were kind of talking about how we think FaZe, you know, sometimes need to be reminded of a loss, and we've discussed this over the years. But do you think there's like if you are a top team and a contender, is there like a good time to lose? Like, what's that window for you for like champs?
I mean, I don't want to say like they need to lose Major 5, or maybe a loss, maybe a really hard Major 5, like to remind them to keep them motivated. Maybe it was the OpTic one. I'm not sure exactly the timing, but here's a look at the stats, and well, Simp with 5,500 damage.
Well, because I feel like, even though I guess I would kind of agree with you, a lot of times the person, you know, in the past that won like the stage 2 final with the old format ended up winning champs. Like, you think of like Envy or like that happened a lot. So like I don't know. I do just feel like that reminder is needed. I still don't know maybe when it's the best time, but it seems like it's going well so far. His FaZe pop off in the first map. It's a dominant map 1 win. We'll see if they can continue on, or if NYSL with a new look roster can rebound back. Search up after the break.
Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by ActiveStat, the next generation analytics platform built with Google Cloud that brings fans, players, and commentators the power of competitive statistics in real time. Get insurance savings and discounts from USAA, the official insurance partner of the Call of Duty League.
The Search and Destroy coming up next. But before we get there, we're going to talk a little bit about the NYSL team. And, well, the first match they played without Clay, because everything went down with Clay. It's interesting. It was unexpected. Now, what can this four-man roster do, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, again, look at the hard point. You have HyDra still doing his thing, but someone else is going to have to step up, or multiple people are going to have to be better. But, you know, you got Mack back in S&D in control, and I think that's so important to see him as well in control. But I think what we saw to Mack in Stage 4, the way he was playing, the momentum, like, he was a different beast, probably a top 5 player that stage. But then what happened, and he's got to get back if he can find that rhythm, that confidence.
Well, and it's interesting because remember we talked a lot about when Asim's numbers dipped a little bit when HyDra came in. You know, it's a tough position to be in for him. It's a very different sub duo, and he had to adapt and learn and figure out what his role was going to kind of be. And now, I mean, the same could probably be said for Mack. I know it's a different working pair, sub versus AR, but it's a different AR next to him. He's got to adapt and learn as well.
100%. I mean, you know, I think Clay plays maybe a little bit slower, sort of that more natural AR. Maybe Diamond likes to play a little bit faster, so they have to find that pace that can work with one another. But yeah, that'll be a thing to look at as we go into Express. NYSL 7-5, FaZe 4-7. Again, one of those maps where they want to be on top of it.
Has anything like really stood out for you for like why you think they've been struggling here?
Well, this was, I mean, I think they started off like 0-3 or 0-4. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I remember a big thing was just about them getting picked, right? Just getting first blooded. Someone on an island would lose their one-on-one, and they would be down in numbers. When you're talking about Express, a lot of the times it's a situation like this, a retake, and you either have to have even numbers or have the numbers advantage, and Simp is giving them that.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's a big part of it, because we talk about that like kind of rotational player. Usually it was Asim on NYSL or like Simp here, that kind of lurk role. Maybe Simp wasn't as comfortable in that, because it seems like the last couple times I've casted him, he's picking teams apart at times. Like he just gets the timings down so well, and usually that's something that comes from repetition.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different things that can kind of, how you switch it up. Right now, next offense, does he go back to the same spot? Does he play a little bit more aggressive? Do they think NYSL is going to throw multiple players at him? But I think also early in the game kind of gets you going and allows you to make that next move and maybe catch your opponents off guard.
Well, he's going. If he would have snapped and ripped him out of the window for 3, that would have been absolute absurdity. But he gets the 2, and he's got, 4 through these 2 rounds. Nice shots from Mack, though, to bring this back. So we go to a 2 versus 2. Cellium and aBeZy up against Diamondcon and Mack. And aBeZy is just lurking. Simp is pinching. Or Cellium is pinching, sorry. 1v1. Diamondcon, welcome back to the team. You've got the tiny demon to battle here with 45 seconds to go.
And both players just kind of playing slow, seeing if they can catch one another on a rotation. And aBeZy's going to catch him, and the wall bang is going to hit. That was close. Diamond, he's got a Krig there. He's got maybe an advantage at that distance as they both spot each other, but he just lines up the shots. But Simp started things off with that two-piece inside of lockers.
And then this is Mack. It's trade on 1, then the beams and RC's in the window. That's the 2 that gives them a shot in the round, but aBeZy has the final laugh, and that'll be FaZe 2-0 out the gate. Yeah, it's Simp with 4 through 2 rounds, so phenomenal start from him. Let's see what they maybe change up on the offensive side, or, Simp kind of took over there, how NYSL tried to deal with him. But you'll see at number 7, he's going to be away from his teammates all the time. Around middle of the map. There's so many different lanes and avenues and timings you can find. They got to deal with it.
Asim gets all the info. So Asim just gets all the info from that ticket booth. He's just watching towards the B-bomb in the middle of the train because that's where aBeZy and Arcitys came out of. We had Mack and HyDra. They had the two-man set up inside of lockers. They tried to rotate on over, but they get caught from Atlanta FaZe. Diamond now, again, the last one alive.
Ooh, oh, down to another 1v1. Nice shots, but no shot in that one. Some tight rounds, but the team left stand at the end of it. Gonna be FaZe again.
Oh, that timing.
Oh, God. I didn't realize how bad that was.
Well, that's where the round falls apart, really, because that was the one thing that they had going for them, is that they knew that all of Atlanta FaZe, or two players, were pushing through the middle of the train, and no one from FaZe knew that you had Mack and HyDra kind of in a two-man setup inside of lockers.
I saw when on the minimap when Cell started to rotate over to help because aBeZy was like stuck on bomb. I just didn't realize how he got through the first gunfight so fast. That explains how he got there. He almost got there and saved his life.
Yep.
Like before.
Bad timing.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. Well, Cell will carry 3 in a row over to this round. He'll be the lone man. Lurking on the B side. Mack peeks for some info, and he's greeted by Arcitys. Just put down. Spot on from Cell. One will drop. More shots coming in. Trying to finesse. Well, teammates get across in time. They do, and they pick up one along the way. Again, the number is just there for Atlanta.
And that was one of those rounds and those setups where FaZe maybe at times would get caught. Like, Cell would be alone on an island. That's fine, but he's got to make sure he finds a kill, right, to keep numbers even. And sometimes he wouldn't, or the offensive team would find him. Then you're going into a 3v4, and that's just tough to retake that site without numbers. But a great job there is he's able to at least find one.
They split it 2-2. Probably throw some added utility for the fake. I think that was probably Simp that went over to help. Now he's going to track back immediately over towards A. And that's kept everybody honest at B. And look how long they hold. They think something's coming. His FaZe start to work up the A site. The rotation from Subliners coming through as well. Trophy up. I'm going down. It'll be a 4-on-4 retake now for Subliners.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. This is the first time they're going to have even numbers on a rotation. But now it's going to be Simp versus Asim. And that could be the battle. And Simp, he's able to find the number. So that number goes away. Again, when they have to go for a retake, it's not even. FaZe are just picking them apart. Not playing together. We'll see, though. Can they find a multi-kill to get them back into this?
Yeah, and those are the plays and timings I was trying to highlight earlier. Like, I just feel... I mean, Simp, from us watching him, he's pretty remarkable when it comes to just game sense, but I think he's gotten way better. It's just that on offense, specifically, winning that one-on-one, or whether it's getting information, getting there in time to help his teammates, he's been huge. And for NYSL, like, yeah, you have the 4-up, you try for the retake, but well, I was going to say an advantage. That even part doesn't stay up for long.
Well, and again, when you're winning that early in the game, you can kind of you make them guess, right? What am I going to do? Maybe he's just there, and that's what Asim is hoping, that he switched things up. But again, Simp finds that time. He just feels like once things start to roll early, they always will. You're just going to be a step ahead.
Well, Mack, Mr. Multi-Kill himself, gets 2 within this round and a chance to avoid getting 6-0'd. They have a 3v1. The plant's coming in. RC is on 3 in a row. We'll try to pull off something wondrous, but it won't happen. NYSL will get on the board, so they don't get blanked. I was worried about, based on how it started to go, at least early. You know, they came down to a lot of 1v1s, but it felt like it was getting a little bit cleaner for FaZe, but nice win here from NYSL.
Yeah, big round again out of Mack. Able to find 3. He's having a pretty solid game, but Atlanta FaZe still up 5-1. And we'll see what they change up, because they just have not been able to win a defense.
Well, it's definitely a little different from FaZe on the offensive side.
They threw a lot of utility towards B. We kind of heard it, right? Just all the tacticals going off. But nobody was down there from NYSL. And Asim's looking around like there's nobody here, so stay at A.
Well, yeah, because he started
again. Happened
yeah,
again.
so it started with what? They had one person there throwing a fake, then two, and then three. But it's been the same result. Sim's found a kill mid-map. Got numbers to close it out. All falls to Mack and Diamond to keep this search alive. Diamond finds a nice timing, brings it into a 2v2. Simp, though, he's still lurking. When will he pounce from mid? Cell's just got to try and play his life or not, because Diamond's own nade takes him out as he panics on the spot top. And Mack have another big round to get their second. Just time dwindling.
You hear that, though? No bomb is going to be getting planted here soon. Simp, though, he has an idea. Of course he does. He wins the gunfight. Atlanta FaZe up 2-0.
Just dominant again. I know there were. It came down to some crazy moments, some 1v1s early, but they had numbers at some point in what feels like every round. And part of that was whether it was Cell on defense, getting a kill, or on offense, Simp finding the pick mid. They were getting efficient first bloods.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about with sort of the communication, that leadership. I think someone has to say, all right, we need to isolate Simp. Whether it's a 2-on-1, we need to find him and force a 3-on-3. But what happened was the opposite. They kept giving him 1v1s where he found good timing. They never had numbers, especially defensively. They could have 4-hit through the flank. There was a lot of different things that they could have done that they just, I don't know, nobody had the idea to do it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to work to improve. Filling that gap, like, it's one thing to talk about just the gameplay role, but filling like a leadership or comms